What's up, guys? This is SanchoWest, and welcome to another episode of the CheckPoint Amigos show. This is the third episode of the one-man show season, so to speak. We got a great jam-packed show for you today. We're going to go over Wrestlemania 34, and of course, we're going to go over the weekly checkpoint, which has some awesome news from video game world, and we got a big chunk of sports today. So lots of things to talk about. Let's get down right to it. Before we begin, I would like to thank the people at patreon.com/SanchoWest. If you're listening to this now on Monday, you get early access to it for only $1. You get this whole podcast 2 days early, and then for those of you who don't, you get it on Wednesday for free. So if you want to get this early, just go to patreon.com/SanchoWest. It's just $1. All it takes $1 a month, and you get about 3 or 4 podcasts early. Also, you get behind-the-scenes look at the channel, all the awesome things, and of course you get my gratitude. And I like to give a special shout out to the people who stopped by my live stream on twitch.tv/SanchoWest. You guys are amazing. You guys, this has been a great week for me. My third week full-time streaming, and it's been a blessing. So I'd like to thank you guys. Anybody who came by the stream, who lurked, who said hello, who dropped a donation, who subbed, thank you so much. So let's get down right to it, guys. WrestleMania 34 happened this Sunday, and boy, what a long show. It's about 5 hours or so, and I'm just going to give a brief synopsis of what happened. For those of you who don't know, I'm a big fan of wrestling. I created a Tumblr page way back in the day that I don't do anymore called Faces and Heels, but I love wrestling ever since back in the 80s and whatnot, and I absolutely love WrestleMania. Now, this is how I'm going to rate WrestleMania. WrestleMania, to me, it's important to have a spectacle because it's like a big daddy, the Super Bowl of wrestling for the WWE. Also, if it sets up storylines correctly. The thing is, though, a lot of people don't understand that the big WrestleMania after the Monday Night Raw, after WrestleMania, is also huge as well. So it's kind of like WrestleMania is great for setting up storylines, but is really solidifies in the Monday Night Raw. So, overall, WrestleMania 34 I give it a B. It's a very B. It didn't feel like a WrestleMania. The set was amazing down in New Orleans. It was an amazing set. It just felt like some of the entrances didn't feel like a WrestleMania. Some of the matches didn't have a WrestleMania vibe. The big stakes weren't there. There wasn't really a celebrity presence there. I really didn't feel glued to the screen as much as other previous WrestleManias. Even one in Dallas where The Rock was just running around doing what he wanted to do. And then the other WrestleMania where you had, and previously at the Superdome, brother, where you had Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, and The Rock all sharing beer in the center of the ring. All that and Shawn Michaels. I believe was Shawn Michaels there? I'm not sure. Ugh, that's going to bother me. Anyway, so it didn't feel like a WrestleMania. So let's go ahead and go through the card real quick and break down and meet each matches briefly. So in the kickoff show, we had the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royale, and we had Naomi winning. But the big storyline coming out of that is Bayley betraying Sasha. Bayley finally showing her edge, so to speak, and pushing Sasha over, betraying Sasha over. Before there were these friendly competitors that are kind of like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels of the women's division. And so that was really cool that we finally get to see like a good storyline that's going to carry us over for the next couple of pay-per-views, Sasha versus Bayley. I think they need to change up Bayley's gimmick a little bit. I like that they're adding a little edge to her. I really see her as the Bret Hart, really, and then Sasha is the Shawn Michaels of the division. I really like Bret Hart's vibe about him. He was just it wasn't really like an over-the-top babyface like Bayley is, all the hugger and all that kind of stuff. I think she could kind of be that Bret Hart of the division. And what I like about Bret was that until his heel turn when he was like, Canada's the best, I feel like that Bayley can do that, and hopefully she gets a chance to shine a little bit there. And that's what I think a lot of these WrestleMania moments kind of like there's at least a storyline come out of it, and that's when I kind of give it a thumbs up. So that was pretty cool. Another awesome moment is the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale where Broken Hardy, aka Awoken Hardy, wins with the help of Bray Wyatt. So finally we get to see Bray Wyatt and Woken Hardy together, and that's pretty neat. I think that they're both are going to be able to work really well, considering that Hardy has his gimmick that everyone is an empty vessel, and this vessel is visited from someone from the past, and now we're going to be able to have him talking to Andre the Giant, the trophy itself. I see a lot of great things coming out of Woken Hardy. I think we're just scratching the surface of what he can do, especially the House of Hardy. So that was an overall, I predicted that was going to happen, and I like that they're putting the Wyatt spin on that. Then we had the Cruiserweight Championship with Cedric Alexander and Mustafa Ali. Cruiserweights are just a lot of spectacle. I think they try to add too much of a storyline. I like promos and whatnot, but promos during the match, I feel like you're telling the audience exactly how they should feel. So they had a lot of things in the promo yelling like, you got no heart, show me your soul. Like, the commentary is already there doing that. I feel like I like wrestlers I don't like wrestlers talking too much. Kevin Owens toes the line a little bit of that, and I felt like this wasn't earned to do that. You have no heart, you have no soul thing, but overall it was a cool match, a lot of high spots. They're pretty awesome. Moving on to the actual show itself, the Intercontinental Championship between The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor. I felt like this show was just like an A-plus Raw match. It was really good. The pace was really high. They set the tone for WrestleMania. A lot of like counters and a lot of like quick maneuvers and quick move sets. It was pretty awesome. Not a lot of chain wrestling there, but I liked it. They had a good chemistry between everybody, and then of course Seth Rollins walks away with a double blackout. That was a nice little twist right there, seeing that Finn Balor was about to beat The Miz. Of course, The Miz just had a baby, so I predicted The Miz. I knew The Miz was going to lose this because he's going to go ahead and bond with his kids. But overall, it was just a solid Raw match. It didn't really feel like a Mania match, but it's nice to see that they gave the belt to Seth Rollins because he really deserves an Intercontinental Championship run. I think he could do some good with the belt, especially as a working champion. Next, we had SmackDown's Women's Championship, Charlotte Flair and Asuka. I really liked this match. It was a good, clean match. I think that was one of the best matches of the night. Charlotte showed a lot of emotion, and Asuka, I just like the counters that Asuka brings and how dangerous she can be as a grappler. Asuka reminds me of Dean Malenko a lot, which I really love, the man of 1,000 holds. And Asuka has that edge about her that all of a sudden she could grab you and tap you out. The only thing that was a bummer that she kind of tapped out to the figure 8 pretty quickly, which was a kind of a bummer considering that it built up Asuka's 2-year win streak. To have her to go out like that, at least have her like break the hold, or at least have her try to almost escape and get pulled back in the middle. But I like the story building of this match itself, and Charlotte winning clean over Asuka at WrestleMania was really, really awesome. I really thought that Carmella would cash in, but when I see how the match progresses, I didn't see that opportunity for Carmella to come in. Up next is the United States Championship, Randy Orton, Bobby Roode versus Jinder Mahal and Rusev. This was a big downer of a match. Jinder Mahal walks out as a champion after another interference. I like valets and managers and whatnot, but I don't like using them as a finish too much. I don't mind using them as a false finish, but having the Singh brother jump up on the mat distract Rusev, because should have been Rusev's moment. Rusev's day has been big, not really getting a push from the WWE itself, and Rusev is still like awesome. Everybody throughout the whole weekend was chanting Rusev Day, and for them not to put the belt on Rusev, meaning that they probably will put the belt on him either on Monday night or on Tuesday night on SmackDown, but give Rusev Day his WrestleMania moment. Now, this match was really good. Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle and Stephanie McMahon and Triple H. I would say this is the match of the entire event. It was awesome. I think Ronda Rousey did a fantastic job. She actually, I like that she's not a world beater, that even though she's this MMA like superstar, she's an MMA champion, she's not like Brock Lesnar coming in running over everybody. She has the ability to sell. She took some shots from Stephanie McMahon. She took some shots for Triple H. I think that was a cool moment. I think WWE did a fantastic job building up the mixed match, the mixed tag matches and all that, building up with that Facebook stuff. So we were able to see how it worked. And I like that they broke the whole thing where a woman has to wrestle a woman and she can't wrestle a man. And they had Ronda wrestling Triple H. That was a hype moment. I think that really did steal the show. And Ronda Rousey herself shows that she can wrestle. She's still a little green. Her exploder suplex needs a little work. I kind of feel like the timing is not there yet, but because she's kind of twerking a lot. But her submission, it looks deadly and they look nasty. And she has a look. Her angry look is money. It's like 1 in a million. And I think that is going to continue to grow. And it's exciting to see how they did that. I like that. I kind of thought that Stephanie McMahon's storyline was a little bit too not earned, so to speak, but it worked really well. Ronda Rousey's going to be like the Stone Cold of the women's division. She's going to interact. She's going to go up against the Authority. I am interested to see if they kind of drop that and see who else steps up to play. I think Ronda Rousey is going to be a pretty good superstar in the future. This up next comes the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. We have the Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers. I didn't like this match at all. It was really short. It felt like a squash match. A lot of people were saying that there's too many matches on the card and there's too many title belts. But it still doesn't excuse a squash match like this magnitude. You have the Usos and the New Day really grinding out throughout the entire year, especially the Usos to have a WrestleMania moment like this, just to be a squash match. Not feeling it. I'm not really feeling the Bludgeon Brothers gimmick as well. They come in with the hammers. I kind of feel like they slow down the pace of the high-flying SmackDown tag team division that you have with the Usos and the New Day. And I don't like their gimmick. I wish they were still part of the Wyatt family. I want a big stable, and the Wyatt family was a pretty cool thing. They could have just kept building it up and up and up. But maybe Luke Harper and Eric Rowan didn't want to be part of the Wyatt family. Who knows? But I don't like that. I didn't like that match at all. Now, finally, John Cena Okay, they had this thing with John Cena where he kept popping in. He was a fan. He was there. And I think they kind of overused it, so to speak. They kept jumping to John Cena and kind of ruined a lot of moments that were happening in the ring, especially when Charlotte beat Asuka. They cut to John Cena, and a referee comes out, tells John Cena that Undertaker's here, and John Cena runs in the back. I kind of felt like it's just John Cena spotlight should not overshadow other wrestlers, and I feel like it kind of did. Like, it would have been cool if they just let that happen in the opening, like, hey, John Cena's in the crowd, and stop cutting to him. They kind of like, it was kind of a card that was overused and it overstayed its welcome. But anyway, so the Undertaker finally comes out, confronts John Cena after a little interaction with Elias. And again, Elias, a phenomenal year, should have had a bigger moment in WrestleMania, and he's just not used correctly. Anyway, so the Undertaker comes out and basically squashes John Cena. And that, I get what they can do. I understand Undertaker can't go more than 10, 15 minutes. He went for 5 minutes, which was really good. A 5-minute Undertaker showing is awesome. They kind of like, not botched really, but his hike, he can't lift his leg that much, and John Cena didn't really sell it. But I understand they're probably building up to a better match. I mean, Undertaker looked great. He looked like in shape. He wasn't winded. But again, they protected the Undertaker and let him go through his old school, his snake eyes, and all his spots, so to speak. And it worked. And Cena didn't kick out. And Cena really sold the Undertaker. And I like how they resurrected the Undertaker. So overall, it's cool to see Taker back. But at the same time, I think they're just trying to rewrite how he goes out. They didn't think that the fans did not like how he went out with Roman Reigns. I'm sure they're going to find a better suit for him. I just wish, dude, just wrestle Kane and go out wrestling your brother. You set up the storyline, just end it. I would not mind. There's years, decades of building. Just let that end. Up next is Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon and Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Now, here's what I don't mind. I understand that Daniel Bryan, it was really cool to see him back. The whole crowd was into it. My only thing about Daniel Bryan, or the one things I don't like about what WWE is kind of abusing creatively, is the stretcher storyline, where they get a wrestler hurt early and then he sits in a stretcher as a way to build up this anxiety that he won't come back, and they always come back. And I just think it's overused at that moment as well. So Daniel Bryan goes down. Shane McMahon, who's dealing with like an internal issue that he got while he was vacationing, he happens to wrestle, and he does a fantastic job. I think Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn are great together. I think they should have a tag team run in the SmackDown and the Raw division. Now that, considering that the story is that they got fired from SmackDown and they're going to get moved over, I think they should go to Raw, become a tag team duo, and get the tag team championship belt. Anyway, Daniel Bryan himself, I think he still needs to change his moveset. Again, I want to say that me critiquing these things, I'm not critiquing the wrestlers at all. They're professionals. They're fantastic. I can never do what they're going to do, but I'm just critiquing the storylines and the creativity that the WWE is putting out for us. So Daniel Bryan, he knows what he's doing. He's a professional. He's been doing this for years, but I feel like his moveset is so dangerous for him. There was a moment when he did his mistletoe drop kick, his kind of like a basement drop kick, so to speak. He kind of has a moment where he sits there and shakes the cobwebs off of him. I don't know if he was just milking it. But it looked like there was a moment where even the commentators were like, oh, like everybody like kind of like fell still for a second, and then he kept up and kept wrestling. Daniel Bryan is awesome, dude. He has the fire in his eyes, and it's good to see him back in the ring. I can't wait to see him mix it up with all the other wrestlers on SmackDown. They will definitely bring more views and bring up SmackDown a little bit as well. Because I don't feel like AJ Styles' star power could carry SmackDown. You needed someone like a Daniel Bryan to, cross knuckles with someone, so to speak. Raw's Women's Championship, Alexa Bliss and Nia Jax. I knew Jax was going to win right out the gate. The whole thing about Jax is that they kind of just, when the WWE has a strong issue like bullying, or in the earlier era where they had like very sexist heel characters doing very mean things to people, the comeuppance of the character will always happen, of the heel will always happen in the pay-per-view event. So I knew that when they started playing this angle of Bliss fat shaming, so to speak, Jax, and being mean to her, bullying her, I knew that the whole storyline would be like bullies never always get their comeuppance in the end. And so she's really cool the way she can move around the ring, and I hope they keep the belt on her longer than just one night. Up next, we have the WWE Championship with AJ Styles, Nakamura, the big New Japan Pro Wrestling. I was really looking forward to this match. I don't think the pacing was right. AJ Styles does win here at the end of it. That's really cool. They had Nakamura. I think Nakamura in heel is a lot more interesting than Nakamura face. I think he could be a little bit nastier. Strong style is supposed to be nasty, and I think he could fill that role really nice, especially on the SmackDown. There's not a lot of great heels. And so Nakamura low blows him at the end, but I just feel like the match, I was really expecting a New Japan Pro Wrestling match, constant false finishes, counters out of things, and I just felt like maybe that day that AJ Styles was actually really hurt, and for him to wrestle, it looked kind of safe. again, felt like more of like a SmackDown match. I mean, Nakamura, that was a really cool reversal into the Styles Clash. But again, I feel like there was really nothing special. Even the entrances felt kind of bland. I mean, the takeover entrance of Nakamura was used again, but this time with an electric guitar and more people. It just didn't feel right. You know, I like the spectacle of the entrances. The only cool entrances I saw was Ric Flair's entrances. I mean, Charlotte Flair's entrance was really cool because back in, I think it was 2005, she was a valet for Triple H's. She was one of the people standing next to the throne of Triple H, and then when she full circle comes in 2008, she's at the throne, which is kind of cool. But other than that, I feel like there was nothing special. Even the New Days using the Dragon Zord theme to call in all the Pancake guys. Again, it's just nothing. There was nothing epic. Like in the previous WrestleMania, there was a lot of epic entrances, but again, they were kind of ruined by daylight. And then we have the Raw Tag Team Championship, the Bar and Braun Strowman and his TBD partner. I get what they were trying to do. They're trying to get Braun to be like a more comedic monster. I think Braun is a very charming guy, and I think he can get over. He's already like over the moon over. I just feel like the whole thing of building up this mystery partner and then to have just him go into the crowd and grab a kid. The biggest thing I don't like about the match is that it completely decimated the Raw team roster. The Raw tag team roster is just now you're saying that one superstar with a kid could beat out your best tag team. I think it was a very disrespectful thing, especially for the Bar. The Bar has been working really well, but it just shows how weak the Raw tag team roster is. So bringing over Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn will be awesome. I predict Braun Strowman to drop the belt. It was just for something for him to do at WrestleMania. It was really funny. It was cool to see, but it was kind of a bummer. I expected like someone to return, someone big. Even like a long shot Hulk Hogan, because I feel like they've been using Hogan more and more. You know, they have him in the Under the Giant. You can't have the Under the Giant story without Hogan. So they have him there. They kept showing him more and more in the promo packages because after his incident, they kind of erased him from all WWE. But they've been mentioning him more and more. He was, you know, he's still part of wrestling. So I thought it would be interesting to see Hogan. We would get a cool, huge pop. It would have been a great way to have him, and then, you know, have Hogan protected with a couple of spots. But I understand Braun is the main guy. Finally, we have the Universal Championship between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, where Brock Lesnar beats Roman Reigns after 6 F5s, one of them on a chair, and blooding him like, whew. I never seen someone bleed that much in a wrestling event in a long, long time. And here's the thing, like, I understand what WWE is trying to do. They're trying to get Roman over by beating him to a pulp, just like how they got Stone Cold Steve Austin over and how they got The Rock over. But I don't think it's not going to work for Roman, considering that Brock Lesnar himself is a part-timer, in the point that, you know, I just think Lesnar and Roman Reigns are not good matchup together. They're both movesets are kind of similar, and it's just too slow pace of a match. If they would have had like some kind of a gimmick like no holds bar, wrestle all around the arena, get really creative with it, versus just having Roman take a lot of stiff shots from Brock and like chair shots, or I know there wasn't any chair shots, but like breaking the table, like all that kind of stuff's been played out, and the crowd was very restless about it at that point. But I just feel bad. I feel bad for the competitors, because they're actually like working really hard, and for them to not to get the message across or get everything over, it's a bummer. And I think Brock Lesnar, I'm surprised that he was able to win, because a lot of those rumors that Lesnar was going to go to the UFC, and I thought Roman would be the working champion. But let's see what happens at Monday Night Raw. Most likely you guys will know this before me, because I'm trying to get this episode up, but I predict something will happen on Monday Night Raw where Brock drops the strap or something like that. But that wraps up my WrestleMania thoughts. Again, I give it a B. It was a good show. I just wanted more pizzazz, and Ronda Rousey, by far, best match of the night. All right, let's get to the weekly checkpoint. Let's go ahead and cover video games. We got video games, sports, and movies this week. We got a big sports section, which I'm kind of excited about. First, the video games. It's official. Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4 is coming September 7th, 2018. You can pre-order now. So Insomniac Games comes out on Twitter and says this is announces it, and also has a monthly exclusive on Game Informer about all this crazy details about Spider-Man. I'll go into about the release itself right here. So the standard edition of Marvel Spider-Man, when it's available at retail and digitally, is going to be $59.99. The digital deluxe edition of the game will include a copy of the game, which is $79.99. Will include a copy of the game, as well as new story chapters with post-launch DLC series, Marvel Spider-Man: The City That Never Sleeps. That's right, we'll be supporting the post-game launch, and you'll be getting 3 new chapters That's not 3 new chapters with new missions, new villains, and characters, and additional suits for Spider-Man. Buyers who pre-order for the deluxe edition, the digital deluxe edition, will also receive by mail a limited edition collectible pin, only available for residents in the United States and Canada, featuring Spider-Man as he appears on the cover art of the game. Marvel's Spider-Man Deluxe Edition Digital will be $149.99. The collector's edition includes all the digital content from the digital deluxe edition, as well as a steelbook case featuring the iconic White Spider mini art book from Titan Books and an awesome Marvel's Spider-Man statue by Gentle Giant. Also, that was really cool. They said that anything that you get in pre-order is available and unlock in-game, so you don't have to do anything crazy. That's awesome. Thumbs up there. I'm really excited about the Spider-Man game. The footage that they showed, the little trailer that they showed, looks amazing. The locomotion of moving from building to building looks so cinematic and looks so smooth and buttery and awesome. One of the cool things is in the interview, they said that the Spider-Man is going to be Spider-Man. You're not going to build up to Spider-Man. You're going to be Spider-Man from the get-go, and that's going to be pretty cool. And I'm excited to see what this looks like as more time comes, and it's awesome that it's coming. Not soon, but at least we have a date, September 7, 2018. Next story, Lawbreaker Studios' next game is 80s-infused Battle Royale game coming to Steam tomorrow for early release. So this is from the article here. Lawbreakers developer Boss Key Productions announced it was moving on from that game and saying the arena shooter had failed to find an audience. Today, Boss Key revealed what is working on next, Radical Heights, a free-to-play Battle Royale shooter that's coming to Steam, aka PC, early access tomorrow. Radical Heights is entering the increasing crowded Battle Royale space with a stylistic difference. I can't say that word. Difference. Bosky is imbuing the shooter with colorful, cheesy 80s aesthetic. Radical Heights is also leaning into his murderous game show element, thinking Running Man or Smash. Cash is king in Radical Heights, the developer said in a news release. Players will fight for cash and prizes while attempting to kill each other. This is a 5-month passion project for studio as we're creating and publishing the games entirely by ourselves, says Zach Lowry, Radical Heights creative director, in the statement. We're huge fans of Battle Royale games, along with their bright, inviting irreverence of the 80s aesthetic. Because of that, we want to put our own spin on the genre and create a futuristic 80s world that takes place in 2023 during an over-top game show where contestants battle it out for fame and prizes. So that's going to come to the store tomorrow on Tuesday, April 10th. If you're listening to it now, of course, on Wednesday, you could go get it in the store. It is $14.99. Of course, it's going to be free to play, but this is early access, so expect a lot of bugginess. It kind of looks cool. I'm kind of down to try it, and $15 is not that bad to try a Battle Royale game. Expect a lot more Battle Royales, and you know, the only thing that kind of irks me is a lot of people are like, it's going to fail. Battle Royales are not that great. It's just a copycat. I mean, you have to understand, man, Lawbreakers, like, it kind of crashed and burned really hard. So I don't blame, if you're a fan of Battle Royales and you're a developer who can make it, why not make your own Battle Royale and see what it can do? I mean, it's a genre that's hot right now, and you cannot fault developers for not only making something that they enjoy themselves, but trying to cash in a little bit. I mean, it's business. Speaking of Battle Royales, creating a Battle Royale mode in Ghost Recon Wildlands is impossible right now, says developer. Replying to a tweet from Cash R. Romney, we understand the allure of Battle Royale game mode, and while it may seem like a natural direction for Ghost War, however, it would involve changes in the game structure and technical challenges that are simply impossible to undertake right now. So that's it. I mean, I thought when I saw Ghost Wildlands and when I played it myself, I thought, man, this would also be a great Battle Royale considering how vast the world is and how the vehicles can play and just how awesome the combat is. I thought it would work. I know Far Cry 5, you think that it might work, but the multiplayer seems kind of floaty. I kind of dipped into that a little bit over the weekend. It feels a little floaty and it doesn't really work well. But, you know, Ubisoft would be a fantastic start for the AAA Battle Royale space to get into it. So it looks like Ghost Wildland not going to have it, but they did release a tease that something involving Sam Fisher is going to, Sam Fisher's coming back into the Ghost Wildlands. This is year 2 of Ghost. I can't believe it's already been a year since Ghost Wildlands. It feels like it just came out yesterday. But we'll see what happens with year 2, especially with Sam Fisher coming into the fray. Next story is a big overall for Divisions coming to Call of Duty World War II on April 10th, again on Tuesday. Unlimited sprint for all players, grenade launcher for rifles, suppressors for pistols, new weapon changes. So, here we are. Sledgehammer is back. I believe it's Sledgehammer. Sledgehammer came out with a kind of like with a trailer talking about, yes, it is Sledgehammer, talking about how there's changes to the new overall system of the loadouts and whatnot. They wanted to make it all balanced to where, because in the past they had divisions where the sharpshooter had only access to certain things, and someone else is like who's a shotgunner had only access to certain things. But instead they got rid of all that. They scrapped all those barriers, and now they have guns that you have. Everyone has guns that the same attachments and things, the perks like that. They want to kind of make it balanced, so not only that when you're diving into it, you could get, you feel like you're not being cheated out or being funneled down a certain path, a certain play style. You could kind of like have a variety of gameplay, and it's also going to help the competitive scene according to that. So that's happening tomorrow on Tuesday, April 10th. It's kind of interesting. We're seeing a lot of these developers kind of like write the course immediately. Sometimes they take the next game to make their wrongs right, but you're seeing a lot of developers diving in right away. They're trying to save face. They're trying to keep the game afloat. And that's awesome. I really applaud them. If they know that something doesn't work, just scrap it and move on and try to right the ship. Don't let it sink completely, because it's gonna be carrying in your momentum into that. I mean, Star Wars Battlefront, another example. Destiny 2, all these developers trying to right the ship before it's too late. And it looks like Sledgehammer is joining that as well. Up next, Middle Earth. Shadow of War is permanently removing microtransactions and war chests. So again, another developer deciding to get rid of microtransactions. This comes from Monolith. Shadow of War expands the first game's Nemesis system, but unlike Shadow of Mordor, the game treated orcs as loot and can be found in these war chests, and even assign rarities to them. Depending on your playstyle, and certain number of rare orcs was required to clear the end game. Quote, simply being aware that we are available for purchase reduces the immersion in the world, that the orcs themselves are available for purchase reduces the immersion in the world, and take away from the challenges of building your personal army in your own fortresses, says Monolith amid in a blog post. You will continue to be able to purchase gold with real money until May 8th, and the market will permanently close on July 17th. Any gold you can be used until then, but after that, it'll be converted into in-game items. So there you have it right there. Again, microtransactions slowly being phased out. I guess with the success of Epic Games Fortnite, you're seeing a lot of people kind of just slowly, tamper microtransactions down to only being cosmetic items. The Boss Key Games Radical Heights also has a cosmetic only microtransaction. So I think this is good. This is good for us gamers out there. Next story, NBA 2K18 has a draft. So for those of you who don't know, for the past couple of years, the NBA franchises themselves have been building a, E-League, right? They've been building an E-League to get into the NBA 2K18 sports. And so not all the teams in the NBA, but some teams in the NBA have themselves their own e-sport team roster. And finally, it got filled out yesterday, or it got filled out this past week. And I'm just bringing up the story because it's very interesting. So only 102 gamers who got drafted, 17 NBA teams to be on their next NBA 2K League teams. First rounders get a 6-month salary of $35,000. Everyone else get $32,000. Along comes out housing, meals, travel expenses, and medical benefits. So, these gamers who play NBA 2K18 not only got drafted by NBA teams, but the first guy who got picked, Dimes, was able to shake the hand of Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA. And that's just awesome. That's mind-blowing to me that people playing an NBA game were able to meet an NBA commissioner and shake his hand just like an NBA prospect going into the league as a first-round draft pick. And not only that, these guys get paid $35,000 for the first rounders, $32,000 housing, meal just to play games, and this is a 6-month salary. That's insane, and that's awesome. I applaud that. They grinded, they worked hard. The thing about I personally don't like NBA 2K18 because the animations kind of take over. So this is really cool because they're going to be using their own creative characters, and it's awesome to see who has the stick skills to be able to see. I'm interested to see how it plays out, and it's exciting to see that, again, people loving playing video games, able to make a living off of their love. Thumbs up. All right, that wraps up all the video game news. Let's get right into the sports news right off that back of that NBA 2K18 draft. San Antonio Spurs, Adrian Windhorst at ESPN tweeted, "There's a simple question with a complicated answer." So this asked this guy Windhorst, who's a big ESPN correspondent, that what's going on with Kawhi Leonard? And basically, for those of you who've been not keeping up with the whole thing, Kawhi Leonard has been out. He's only played 9 games this whole NBA season, and Kawhi Leonard is one of the top 5 players in the NBA. Maybe the best two-way player in the NBA, playing both defense and offense, and he's been out for the entire season for the San Antonio Spurs, been right in injury reserve, and he's been on the report as listed as injury management. And so you have Kawhi's camp saying that one thing, you have the Spurs camp saying all is good, and obviously it's not, because Kawhi's not in the lineup. It's a quad injury. It's interesting because Tony Parker suffered the same injury, but he's been back in the lineup. He came back a lot better, and it's just frustrating. Me personally, I'm a Spurs fan. I was just hoping that Kawhi Leonard would come back in time for the playoffs, but that looks like that's not going to happen. And now what Windhorst was saying in this tweet, in the segment on ESPN Outside the Lines, is that you're going to get a lot of NBA people, a lot of NBA, what's the word I'm looking for? General managers, all the GMs calling the Spurs to make a trade for Kawhi Leonard. And in a crazy world, I mean, the only trade that would make sense is that the Cavaliers traded away LeBron James to the Spurs to get Kawhi Leonard and a couple of picks because LeBron James is going to leave anyway. So I don't know, in a sign and trade deal. My point is that it's kind of weird to see a Spurs player go through all this, and it's kind of a bummer as a Spurs fan, considering that Kawhi went out on a terrible play by Zaza Pachulia. It's awful to see a Spurs player go through this, but it's going to be an exciting offseason as well. Not only with LeBron and Paul George, having options to where to go, and with the Lakers with a big cap space, but to see what happens with Kawhi Leonard. Sticking with ESPN, ESPN says ESPN Plus service will be out April 12th at $4.99 a month, and will have a game per day throughout the MLB season, plus NHL, boxing, MLS, college sports, PGA, pro tennis, and scripted shows. Quote, ESPN Plus, the upcoming direct-to-consumer subscription streaming service from Disney Direct-to-Consumer and international in partnership with ESPN and featuring ESPN branded content, will launch on April 12th. The president, ESPN and co-chair of Disney Media Network, said, ESPN has built on a belief in innovation and the powerful connection between sports and a remarkable array of fans. The same belief is the heart of ESPN Plus and the new ESPN app. With ESPN Plus, fans will have access to 1,000 more live games, world-class original programs, and on-demand sports content, all at a great price. They will all get all that as part of a complete, reimagined, increasingly personalized ESPN app that provides easy, one-stop access to everything that ESPN offers. So it's already happened, guys. We're getting an a la carte service with not only the WWE Network. Now you have ESPN. Now you're going to have, there's rumors that Disney's going to pull all their content off of Netflix and Hulu to have its own thing. So now we're just going to be basically dime to death with all these little subscriptions, and before you know it, we're going to be paying more than it will cost to do the big cable. So it's interesting to see ESPN get into the fray. It looks like they don't have NBA, NFL, which would have been a huge get, but if you're an MLB fan, NHL fan, boxing fan, this is kind of cool that you got access to this kind of things, this on-demand thing. It's happening, guys. Everyone's being cord cutters, and everything's going to be a la carte, so pretty much you have to pay for everything, which is kind of frustrating because I'm tired of remembering so many passwords for everything. I have like 1,000 passwords, and that sucks. Continuing on with sports, Canelo versus Triple G rematch has been canceled after Alvarez failed drug tests, which is a bummer because the first matchup was really good. And I was quite surprised that Canelo was able to hold his own against Triple G. So I was really looking forward to this rematch. I'm a big boxing fan. I love boxing. My family gets together for boxing. It's just something that reminds me of, hanging out with my dad and whatnot, and having people over barbecue, and we all watch the fight, and it's awesome. I love boxing. It's the sweet science of boxing. I got into it in college. I have pretty long arms, so I got a pretty decent jab. But let's get to the article here. Quote, I am sad and feel powerless that this fight cannot happen, Alvarez told reporters. I have nothing to hide. I want to be transparent in this process. I will do whatever I need to do to demonstrate I have never deliberately taken the substance. I have always operated as a clean fighter and have always taken clean substances. I respect the sport unconditionally and would never do anything to tarnish something I have worked so hard for and given so many sacrifices for. It saddens me that people are accusing me of doing something improper. From here on out, I will take increasing precautions to ensure this will never happen again. I am ready for what comes in the future. The article will continue to say Alvarez hopes that by taking preemptive action and by appearing to pay respect to the commission, his ban will be capped at 6 months and provision permissional under Nevada rules. And if that's the case, and given the ban will be backdated to the date of the positive test, a September showdown with Golovkin would still be a viable option. September's Mexican Independence Day weekend, along with Cinco de Mayo weekend in May, are considered to be the most significant dates in boxing. So this fight was going to happen in May, in the perfect weekend for it, and Vegas was going to be awesome. And, this happens right here. I mean, the bottom line is I feel like a lot of sports athletes are trying to do their best to kind of tiptoe the line just to try to find a way, an edge. And maybe, and it looks like Alvarez accidentally took something that may have not been, legit, not necessarily dirty, but maybe had some kind of thing that kind of red flagged the system, and him being so upfront about it, that's a good sign, and I want to see this fight. We deserve this fight as boxing fans. Canelo, I can't believe he held his own, considering that he, really got outclassed by Mayweather. So there's not a lot of great fighters left, and Triple G and Canelo are definitely one of the most. On to the movie news. Meanwhile, back in the movie news, Star Wars, a solo trailer revealed again. There's a new trailer. I caught a glimpse of it. It looks fantastic. It looks gritty. It looks like a heist. I feel like it could be a little bit formulaic, but just to see Lando, Han, Chewie all going at it, and then you have Woody Harrelson's in it. I mean, I think it's going to be an awesome, awesome movie. I think the action looks cool. The cinematography looks cool. And just to see the Falcon, in flight, because it's its own character. Great A+. The trailer, you should check it out. If you're trying to just keep it all blacked out, I don't think it reveals anything, but just know that it's gonna be like a heist movie, and it's exciting to see Star Wars being treated in this way. Again, I'm not a big fan of The Last Jedi. I feel like The Last Jedi was too Marvelized. It was trying to be too, it's trying to fit Guardians of the Galaxy, and it just didn't feel right. I like the lore of Star Wars in terms of it's mythical, right? It's like the Force, and it's just this presence, and I don't know. I feel like when all the characters are comical, it kind of takes away from that, and that's just my 2 cents. I mean, I still think that for me, J.J. Abrams did a solid job with Force Awakens, even though it followed too many of the beats of New Hope. It's exciting to see Ron Howard, to see what he does here with Solo. But come on, guys, the graphic for Solo looks like someone in college did the graphics for there. On to more awesome news for Black Panther. Black Panther, this is going to be a little quick flash news headlines here. Black Panther sales past Titanic to become the 3rd highest grossing movie in domestic box office history. Black Panther just killing it, which leads me to believe that because of Black Panther's success, Avengers Infinity War is just going to be insane. You're going to have the fans of the Avengers for the past 10 years and all the new fans that Black Panther brought in all meeting all together, and it's going to be fantastic. All right, guys, that wraps up this CheckPoint Amigos show. There's really nothing to look forward to until April 20th because God of War comes out. So there's nothing to highlight for you guys. I hope you guys have a great week. And comment down below what you thought about WrestleMania 34, if you liked it, if you didn't like it. And as always, I appreciate your feedback regarding the show itself. And yeah, man, I'm enjoying the podcast. Again, I'm going to work on trying to get this out sooner as possible. Sunday WrestleMania went kind of long, and I had to rewatch some of the matches just to get a feel, just to get to solidify what I liked about it. Again, my name is SanchoWest. I appreciate you hanging out in this CheckPoint. And as always, I'll see you guys next time. Ooh, yeah. Peace. Adios, guys. Bye.